his freshman year coming into Columbus High School, and I was a junior, and here I am walking down the corridors, and I see this tall, lanky, skinny guy, about 6'5", 6'6", and the first thing I asked him was he going to play basketball? And he told me no, and I couldn't understand why.
And everyone knew who Marc was. I mean, he was probably the best player in the city, much less the team. And it was a big deal for me that he actually came up and talked to me. It gave me a little status. And after Marc and I became friends, he talked me into playing, and he started working with me. And I really think I was on the team as a freshman or a sophomore. I can't even remember. I think my sophomore year. I really think I was on the team because he probably made one of the coaches put me on the team.
East Highland area was home. We had loving parents, and that was the key for us to get through, getting through that era. A lot of the older guys, they kind of respected us because they knew we were up and coming athletes. So they wanted to make sure that we didn't get into the things, the drugs and the alcohol and being with the wrong crowd. So they kind of really encouraged us to stay away from that and stay on the court. We had everything we needed, or at least we thought we wanted, but the bottom line was we were big dreamers. I mean, we would be in East Highland today, but dreaming that we were in California or New York or somewhere.
I was going to try every possible means to be successful at what I wanted to do. And we just saw so many people that gave up their dreams. Saw so many kids that were good. I saw so many kids that was better than me, and they just gave up. They didn't graduate. They didn't go to school. They just quit. And I was afraid, but I was more afraid of not trying.
I wouldn't play unless they chose him. And that's what
We
a
had to be on the
bond
same team,
came.
yeah. Or he wouldn't play.
And so, but that work ethic, that's why I knew he was going to be, successful in that, because we played every day and we talked about what we were going to do, whether it was on the court or off the court, because we were a team. We were just, we were growing up in a place where we were big dreamers.
I never thought about really going to college because I knew my parents couldn't afford it until I started hanging out with Marc playing basketball, and he started telling me, you're good enough to get a scholarship. I didn't think so. But the more I was around him and started playing and getting better, and I knew he was going to get a scholarship because all the schools were recruiting him, and being around that, it just kind of trickled down to me, and it made me want what he was going to do, because he kept saying, if I can do this, you can do this. You can go to school. And so it made me start working hard in school, because now I had a goal. I tell people all the time, there's no way I would have played in the NBA without him.
That's why we're trying to share what we're doing through our foundation with the kids. Here Sam is, people didn't think he was going to make it, but he spent 13 years in the NBA, and he went on to become a head coach. Here I am, people said that I was going to make it, but I didn't make it as an NBA player. But here I have my business that I started 18 years ago. I have 80 plus employees. We're in 11 states. So we have a story to tell for those kids who want to do it but don't make it. We have a story for them. The kids who don't believe, we got a story for them. And that's why the foundation has been so successful the last 8 years.
When we started the foundation, he said to me, I'll never forget this, we're going to get more out of this than any kid that we ever do anything for. And we've helped thousands of kids. And I didn't understand what he meant by that. But the feeling that you get and all the things that have come to us by Sam Marc, and he was right.
Well, there are 4 phases we have. Phase 1 is our camp. We have between 200 to 250 kids every year to come to our camp. And it's a free camp. It's over at Columbus State University. But people think, especially kids, they think it's all about basketball, which it is. I would say maybe 60% of it is basketball. 40% of it is bringing people, successful people in to tell their story, about how they became successful in their fields. So with that combination, it really kind of covers a lot of ground. Phase 2 is our learning centers. We have one learning center in BTW and the other learning center in Wilson Apartment. And we've just partnered with Parks and Rec here in Columbus to have some of those same centers within their rec centers. So that's been pretty special for us. Phase 3 is our tours. We have a tour that we do every single year. Last year we took about 30 kids over to New York City for 3 days. They had a great time. The year before that, we took a group of about 30 kids over to Washington, D.C. Had a great time there. I think our first tour was to NASA Space Center, the one in Huntsville, Alabama. So that was really special. And our last phase is our scholarship program. And we do that, we give that back to the Columbus State because they've been really, really good to us. They've given us their campus. They've given us just free range of their whole campus and the gymnasium, the whole 9 yards, and haven't asked us for a dime. So we want to give back to them for giving to us.
It doesn't matter where you come from or what you have. It's just all about having some integrity. It's hard work. And so that's the thing we're trying to give to them. It's not basketball. It's not anything else. All our speakers mostly have nothing to do with sports. And they're people who have achieved things. And we want the kids to have an opportunity to, if they can see something outside of Columbus and realize that they can do it, all it takes is a little hard work and some dreams. And that's what we're trying to give back to them. That's the crux of what we do. That's why we take them on these trips.
I know the first day of camp, the first question we asked the kids was, what do y'all think we have in common? Oh, y'all played basketball together, you did this and you did that. I said, nope, we both have our college degrees. That's what we have most in common. And that's what we're trying to instill into you guys, that should be your #1 priority in your education.
Growing up in the area, it's a few people who give an area a bad name. And majority of the people are good people. Like the neighborhood raised us. They watched out for us because our parents worked. My mom and dad worked. And so when I came home from school, the people in the apartment complex watched out for us, made sure we didn't get in trouble, made sure we did the things that we were supposed to do. And they looked out for us. And so when I come home and I drive back through the areas and I see how they've changed, and I see the new housing and new apartments and things, and I see the effort and the money and the commitment that's made and trying to bring people back to those areas, then you think about 99% of the people, they just want a chance for a good life. They don't want any problems, they don't want any hassles. They just want to go to work, raise their kids, and try to have a good life. And it's that 1% of the people that give areas a bad name.
For me, every time I come home, I'll either run into a parent or one of the kids that's in the camp, have been in the camp. And especially the parents, man, they just like, and they'll tell you all the time, you have no idea what you've done to my child. You know what I mean? His grades have improved, his attention span from the standpoint of listening to his teachers and things of that nature. He said, you have no idea. Sam and I was like, initially we was like maybe 5 to 7, 7 to 10 years. 7 to 10 years we should start seeing some results. It's already happening. And that makes us both proud of what we're trying to do. It was still home. And that's what comes to my mind. That's still home. Could I come back to live there? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's still home. And like Sam said, good people coming back, bad people will get out.
I just think if people can just understand that and start moving back, and what you'll find is the more good people move back to an area, then the bad elements, they're going to leave. And so I just think it's a good thing what the mayor and what the city is doing, what MidTown Inc. is doing.